Hello, my name is Nizima Dzaya. I'm an industrial management engineer, a supply chain management professional, and someone who has spent years understanding how things get done and why they don't. Today, I'm launching Africa Value Chain, a platform built on one conviction that when Africa grows, the world grows. And let's start with why this matters. Africa has an estimated population of 1.4 billion people, vast natural resources, and immense potential. But supply chains across the continent have been designed historically for extraction. When you look at the main, that is mining and agriculture networks, they are built to export raw materials, not to develop local capacity. Local capacity. And still, there is still little trade between African countries. If we look at current intertrade between among African countries is only about 10.5% of total trade. And if you compare it to that of Europe, you see there is a big gap. The current trade systems are designed for extraction and not local development. And if we go a bit deeper into the why, the education system itself, traditional education system, is not equipping learners for the current reality. The university curriculum have become outdated and they do not reflect the speed of innovation we are seeing, and most are still financially inaccessible to many talented Africans. But there is an opportunity before us, and that is the internet. If internet can be made accessible, then we have committed minds everywhere who can use this internet with its immense resources, such as the online learning platforms, to bring to life real projects and solve problems that we are currently seeing. Because the internet offers flexibility and a wide scope of learning. You will get a scenario where 100 students use different materials to solve the same problem. This will bring about the real innovation that we need, new knowledge, new understanding, different perspectives, but all directed to solving one problem. And that is how fast we can work towards seeing the Africa that we need. And the world is not working the way it used to 10 years ago. The old playbooks, they are failing us. In the last 5 years, We've seen what happens when supply chains break. With the COVID-19, now the recent USA land interruption to the global trade, and the way it causes a global shutdown, it has come to our eyes that disruptions aren't anomalies anymore. They are the new normal. But how do we navigate them? Africa alone has exceeded 70 USA billion and in climate related losses, and yet most organizations continue managing their operations than the way we u- the way operations were managed 20 years ago. When the world changes, we as the current executors of change, we have to follow the pace or be left behind. Though being left behind is not a good business case either. And the visible challenge is that most businesses and organizations today manage only three flows: information, material, and cash. And they wonder why they are not resilient. Managing only the three flows presents a challenge because there are two critical elements missing. With the material flow, this is what most people think of as supply chain. Moving goods from point A to point B. Transportation, warehousing, distribution. But Africa's material flows are uniquely challenging. We have undeveloped infrastructure and the networks are fragmented. These logistic gaps present a challenge that must be taken seriously so that we can advance as a continent. We need to understand the constraints before we optimize so that the strategies fit the reality on ground. Say if you have a 2 days lead time before your materials become available, putting the reality on ground serves you better and helps you readjust so that you serve your clients the way they deserve. With information, this represents data about where things are, what's needed, what's coming. And today, technology is making visibility easier. So it's up to you as a leader to invest in this opportunity before you. Though information flow isn't just about technology, it's about who has access to what and when. The third flow is cash flow. Here we look at who pays who, when, and how. This is where many African supply chains break down because of the cash flow constraints, payment delays, and lack of access to the right information on how to achieve the capital required to run the businesses. So the missing bit is about decision making. Who makes decisions? How fast? With what information? In most organizations, decision making is slow and does not align with the speed of the operations. But if separations are only as fast as their slowest decision, well, you see the problem. This is, we turn now to relationship as a fundamental element that needs attention by the management. With relationship flow, this is the one most organizations ignore. Trust partnerships. Understanding that the quality of connections across the entire value chain gives you a competitive advantage is a good business case. Because research has shown that relationship resilience is what allows supply chains to bounce back from disruption. And resilient systems are built through shared knowledge, practical support, and strong relationships. So the game changer is now seeing on top of the traditional flaws, the three, we need to add decision and relationship management. The organizations that will lead the next decade are the ones that can manage all the five flaws simultaneously, not sequentially, not separately. Because when you integrate decision flow and relationship flow with the traditional three, you create resiliency, adaptability, and this offers you a competitive advantage. I believe you can rewrite a new path to do business and innovate without following a strict path created for advanced systems where Africa is not yet. Yes, we can adopt global standards, but we must reframe them to fit Africa's constraints. Continuing to think the old way itself has a risk because we cannot speak about resiliency or sustainability without assessing the risk. Africa's moment is now. Global supply chains are looking to diversify, and Africa has an opportunity to be part of that transformation. We have great initiatives already, like the African Continental Free Trade Area, It has great potential to create new possibilities if the rules, if the ideas are implemented. I call upon the policymakers to appreciate the essence of speed in national development. Technology is making things possible that weren't 5 years ago. Therefore, not changing the timelines in policy making creates a lag of inefficiency across all sectors. Let's love Africa. And this transformation won't happen by wishing. This transformation will only happen if we all, in our different capabilities, take the lead. It won't happen by following playbooks written for different contexts. It will happen when we all take responsibility, take position. Welcome to Africa Value Chain. On this platform, I'll be sharing what I've learned in my profession as an industrial and management engineer in logistics, mainly because I live at the port of Mombasa, and we will cover different concepts that enable the path to building resilient supply chains for African contexts, leveraging technology without chasing hype, making decisions under uncertainty, and creating value while managing the risks before us. And across the three management levels. Welcome once again. This is Africa Value Chain.